Wouldn't it be better to sacrifice the relationships that we cannot be ourselves in than to constantly sacrifice ourselves every day? Because think about it, when we abandon ourselves, we are actually training other people to abandon us. Because this universe operates on the law of mirroring. It that law scares me because it's like the law of gravity. Nobody can escape it. If you jump, you're gonna fall down. That's a guarantee. Anything that goes up has to come down. So similarly with the law of mirroring, life is going to continuously mirror to you who you are. So if you are in the habit of abandoning yourself, guess what's going to happen? All your relationships are going to mirror to you. In the quest of trying to ensure that people do not abandon us, here is one deadly thing that we have to be extremely aware of, and that is self abandonment. It's not fulfilling. We feel drained because it's like, oh my goodness, I have to put on this character every day. I have to put on this false self every day just to make this person happy, just to keep this person in my life. So that is something that we really have to think about. This is insane.
It's my dream, there are no lies. It's cold and dark, just like ice. I'm inside it, left alone.
So the whole idea of not wanting to be abandoned is part of our inherent human nature. We all are social creatures. We are all born to belong in tribes. We survive by being in groups. So abandonment is just not something that is acceptable to us, right? It's not normal. It's not okay. But here's the thing, the fear of abandonment is a fear that is ingrained in many people from childhood, right? The moment a baby is left by the bed or anyway by the mom, the baby starts to cry because the baby does not want to be abandoned, right? There's safety in knowing that you are in someone's hands, and there's safety in just knowing that your caregiver is close to you. So babies cry, they have their own way of saying, hey, do not leave me. I'm either gonna cry, I'm gonna stress you until you stay with me. That's good. That's really good. But what happens when we're not babies? What happens when we cannot cry ourselves into making the people that we want to be with stay with us? How does that work? So, one toxic, extremely toxic and dangerous way that we tend to cope with that fear of abandonment is people pleasing, right? You people please, and then in that process of trying to please the other person, just give them what they want. We lose ourselves in the process. That means we abandon ourselves. We become disconnected from ourselves. We become disconnected from our needs. We become disconnected from our own truth. And that does not result in connection. So, what happens is that when we abandon ourselves to keep the people that we want to keep, we create relationships that are not sustainable. Why? Because this person is now in a relationship with someone who's not even the real you. They are in a relationship with a cooked version of you, the people pleaser, not the real you, not the you that is expressing their needs, not the you that is expressing exactly how you feel. And that is not a recipe for connection. So here's the thing, what I want us to think about today is, which relationships in our lives are we allowing ourselves to show up inauthentically? Which relationships do we feel like we always find ourselves abandoning ourselves? Usually it's the parental relationships because, it's tough, parents. It can be tough to stand up to them. But actually, that's where the healing has to take place. We have to practice being our authentic selves, expressing our authentic needs with our loved ones first, with our immediate caregivers, before we can replicate that skill everywhere else, wherever life takes us. So, my question to you today is, your friendships, do you show up in them as the real you, or do you show up as the person that is just whoever you think other people want you to be? And if you are showing up as that, false self, how is that going? More often than not, it doesn't work. It's not fulfilling. We feel drained because it's like, oh my goodness, I have to put on this character every day. I have to put on this false self every day just to make this person happy, just to keep this person in my life. So that is something that we really have to think about. Wouldn't it be better to sacrifice the relationships that we cannot be ourselves in than to constantly sacrifice ourselves every day? Because think about it, when we abandon ourselves, we are actually training other people to abandon us. Because this universe operates on the law of mirroring. It that is crazy. That law scares me because it's like the law of gravity. Nobody can escape it. If you jump, you're gonna fall down. That's a guarantee. Anything that goes up has to come down. So similarly with the law of mirroring, life is going to continuously mirror to you who you are. So if you are in the habit of abandoning yourself, guess what's going to happen? All your relationships are going to mirror to you that, hey, you are abandoning yourself. That means when you abandon yourself, people also abandon you. But the beginning of healing is starting to recognize that actually I have to first accept myself. I have to accept my needs. I have to accept my feelings. Even if other people don't agree with what I believe in, even if other people don't agree with my feelings, or if they don't agree with my needs or don't want to meet them, I have to meet them. So if other people are not prioritizing you, you cannot join those people in not prioritizing yourself. You have to prioritize yourself, even if it's just you in this world who's going to prioritize you. You're never going to be you only because God is also there. So that's also an added advantage. But, ish, what's this now? Okay. But this is something that we really have to think about. How much of myself am I bringing out every day? How much of me is showing up in my relationships? If it's just 20%, why? Why am I abandoning the 80%? What's wrong with it? Because the thing is, those parts of ourselves that we abandon, those needs that we abandon, they don't go away. They're going to continue haunting us. And one way or the other, we might find ourselves acting in passive aggressive ways because we are resentful. Like we are actually mad at the people in our lives and who why can't I be myself when I'm around you? So one way or the other, that frustration is going to come out, and often it comes out in unhealthy ways. So the key to healing is actually learning to accept yourself. So by being yourself, naturally you're going to filter the people that don't accept the real you, which is cool because at least the people that are going to be there in your life are the people that are going to accept you for you, which means that you get to have genuine, real, lasting relationships with people that actually are interested in the real you. So it's better to be rejected for who you really are than to be accepted for who you're not. What's the benefit in that? That's not a life to sign up for. So, hey guys, I've written a lot of books on this. It's crazy. The reason why there's a lot of unsuccessful relationships is because people are just abandoning themselves. It actually has very little to do with the other issues that other people have. It has a lot to do with how we treat ourselves. So the other relationships that we are in, be it with family, with friends, romantic relationships, they just mirror exactly how we treat ourselves. So if you ever sit there waiting for somebody to change and you feel like, okay, if this person can just change, then I'm going to be happy, that alone is a misconception. It's a misunderstanding, fatal misunderstanding. The only way we are going to succeed and actually live fulfilling lives is when we start with this person, us. When we start with ourselves. When we start with working on ourselves, that is where the healing is going to flow. Because whatever you have within you is exactly what you're going to spill into your relationships. So if you're in the habit of abandoning yourselves, guess what? All your relationships, you're going to feel the same way. You're going to feel like everyone is treating you the same way, one way or the other. So ultimately, you can't wait for 25 or you can't wait for all the people in your life to change. It has to start with you. The key to living a wala life, which is a content life, happy life, is to actually just start to accept you. So it's never going to work. This whole thing of pleasing people, denying our needs, ignoring them, it's never going to work. The only way that we can find peace, that we can find serenity, is by first learning to accept our needs, accept our feelings, express them. If someone doesn't want to listen, toodles. Yeah, toodles. Tell them toodles. You must be there to listen to you, and that is good enough. So I'm done. Rent time is over. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.